I'm nonplussed how to handle this one. Its magnitude is so vicious, vile, viscous, violent. Even after 13 years of doing this on television, I am perplexed how to handle this one. But for the real home of the brave and for the real land of the free, which has been stolen from us by a bunch of gangsters, a mob, in the courts and in the government today. But for the sake of that, I'll keep trying till I get through this. This is volume 3 out of 4, and it's pages 141 to 220. We go through Sarok's irrelevant exhibits. It's bulk and it's no weight. He just plainly does not think right. He just plainly does not see right. He just plainly does not have the benefit of a good mother and father to teach him right from wrong. An avalanche of obfuscations. It used to be. It used to be. Good work, soprano. You hit a good note. He complains about Glendora's papers being lengthy, but why are they lengthy? Because I have to refute so many of his lies. And he doesn't answer any of Glendora's points. I pointed out to you that he didn't defend himself against my ad hominem. He didn't say you didn't do this number of hours, you didn't spend this amount of money. He didn't defend himself against the fact that a defendant cannot defend a co-defendant. He did not defend himself against his abortion of the small claims law. What is his point? There never should have been 2 orders to show cause. He didn't defend himself against that he asked the court for the same relief twice, and press ruled that the second order to show cause was denied because he didn't state that he was renewing it and that his claim of a meritorious defense was conclusory and unsubstantiated. Here's his lie again. It must be the 10th time I pointed it out to you, that he says that the court has already ruled that Glendora can have $5,000 damages. The court never ruled any such thing. He cannot produce a paper from the court or an order from the court where this happened. Your home sweet home has been invaded by George Bush with his illegal search and seizure, 4th Amendment. Sarok has not proved any of his conclusories. They are bald lies. He doesn't even incorporate his previous papers as if fully stated. Again, Here is the signature that comes out of his very sick, sick mind. What am I reading? Oh, and he doesn't even sign it. He calls it an affidavit, and it isn't notarized. He signs it, but it isn't notarized. And you can't, you have to sign it in front of the notary. Oh boy, this is sick lawyering and shoddy workmanship. Going through as fast as I can, folks. And I'd like to know who is paying him, or is he doing it volunteer? He eschews any explanation why he thinks that White Plains City Court has no jurisdiction over him. He does business in Westchester County at 1053 Park Street, Peekskill, and any small claims action in Westchester can be brought in a White Plains City Court. He tells over 30 lies in his reply, which he calls an affidavit, and it isn't notarized. It is not a reply, and it is not an affidavit. This paper costs 13 hours and $84.62. What is it? It's Glendora's cross motion to deny his motion to dismiss. And don't you see, this is all does not belong in small claims court. You do not have motion practice in small claims court. You go there once when the summons tells you to go, and you tell the judge whether you want to mediate, arbitrate, or have a trial by the judge. And then you come back for the trial. 2 appearances, that's it. Look at all this work. This was 3 appearances in court. Each one of them cost something like $200 for me to finance. And then all of this motion practice, 4 papers. This is the mailing list, and it goes to the people who are behind all this. Charles Dolan and his son James Dolan of Cablevision, who take out of the subscriber money that you send them. They take out $3 million a year, $3 million for Charles, $3 million for James, and then they do all this to public access because they don't want me on television telling you how much they took for themselves. If that isn't editorial control, what is? This is the people of the state of New York going against Cecilia Mascarilli to correct the $5,000 judgment that Glendora won against her, since she didn't come up with it and pay it. If she had paid it, I probably would have given it back to her or to somebody else. So the conclusion that is, Glendora has shown in these 160 pages, we're up to count 65 of ignorant lawyering, and this took 13 hours and $85. Glendora points out the fact that she's been discriminated against. I have watched over 150 people come to small claims court in White Plains. They step up to the bench, and a clerk asks them, do you want to mediate this, arbitrate this, or have a trial before the judge? And then they choose one of the 3, and they go, and they don't come back. They might have the mediation and the arbitration that very night. Or, if it's a trial by the judge, they come back in about a year. 2 appearances. Look what we went through. Count 63 says, Glendora, herein lie another 40 pages of ignorant lawyering, and sadly Sarok and Cecilia, together with their shoddy workmanship. Count 64, it is indisputable that the defendants have no meritorious defense. That's dishonesty. They have acted in bad faith all the way through. And Glendora's small claims rights are violated. Look at all this that she's going through. She's been damaged, and she deserves $5,000. Glendora made a motion for summary judgment. I would like to retract that, and I'm glad that Judge Hansberry denied it, because you don't have summary judgments in small claims court. In small claims court, there has to be a trial. And when did Judge Hansberry do this? And he adjourned. He denied Sarok's motion to dismiss, and he adjourned everything, and he did that somewhere in January. And then he called a conference for all purposes for May the 3rd. You know, other people don't have to go through all this. And hereby comes another $200 and 30 hours preparation, and 12 hours, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. to go to White Plains City Court. We're up to 174 out of 200, out of 300. This work cost 4 hours, and it was on the internet. It programmed 4,302 circa, and it cost $13. All that money comes out of Social Security and out of Franklin's pensions. The litigant application seeks the identical relief previously requested. This is Eric Press to Walter Sarok, without identifying the moving papers as an application to renew, and without offering reasonable justification for the failure to present the new facts and legal arguments on the prior order to show cause. As I say, you don't ask the court for the same relief twice. And here's the log for that. Till all success be nobleness. That'll be the day. And I wrote out 17 pages, such as you see here, of questions and points to make at the court. There was not an opportunity to articulate even one of them. And it would be nice if the success of the United States would be in nobleness. But our government, which was a good government, has been kidnapped. Our government is being run by a bunch of gangsters. By a mob of gangsters. Following are counts 67 to 95 of ignorant lawyering and shoddy workmanship, and Glendora must be awarded $5,000 damages. And it cost me something like $50,000 in work and labor. Notice the motion and affirmation in the support to renew the motion for summary judgment in favor of Glendora on the basis of new evidence. What Sarok did and said May the 3rd, 2005 in court, 2006, in court appearance for all purposes. Press told him that he wasn't going to, Press said that Press wasn't going to pay any attention to Sarok's points about jurisdiction. That the court had jurisdiction, that's all there was to it. So that's two of its affirmative defenses done. The second one, Sarok could not present. He said that the court had already ruled on Glendora's bid for $5,000. There's no such paper. I asked the court for $5,000 sanctions for Sarok and Cecilia and Sadley to pay into the court for the damage that they'd done to the court and the taxpayers of White Plains. But there's no paper anywhere denying that, and asking for 5,000 sanctions is not the same as asking for 5,000 damages. Sanctions go into the court, 5,000 goes to Glendora, so I think there's a little difference there, and I think somebody is lying, don't you? So we've done the third one, and we've got the fourth to go. Let's look at the Joy Book. And our last entry was at 12:30 p.m. and we rejoice that we got through volume 2. So let's rejoice for 12:45 p.m. You do the rejoice. What do you want to rejoice about? How about the universe? How about God, the universe? How about you were born? Think of it. What a marvelous creature you are. Think of all the things you can do. You were born. You're alive. You're healthy. You have food. You have clothing. Rejoice with our TV friends. And now it's 12:50. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey there, folks. Look at this. 3 hours of reporting to you. This lawsuit, Glendora versus Sadley, Stevens, Burke, Braverman, ignorant lawyering, and shoddy workmanship that cost Glendora $5,000. Actually, it was $57,000, but you can only get $5,000 in a city court in the state of New York. That's the monetary jurisdiction. We've done three volumes, and what you just saw there was 3 one-hour videotapes. Reports going on TV for 3 hours and on the internet and Chat with Glendora. No, it isn't. It's going on YouTube. YouTube.com a Chat with Glendora. YouTube.com/a Chat with Glendora, one word. So are you up to it? Oh, look, it's 1 after 5, or it's 5 after 1. And we rejoice every 15 minutes. What are we going to rejoice about? We got down that you were born, you were alive, and you were healthy. Now, how about food, clothing, and a home? How about freedom and independence? How about your education? You can read and write. How about your career? How about your spouse? How about your family? Do you have a kitty cat like that one? She's washed out by the sunlight, And we can add to that our blue sky. And I do not see any aerosol from here. There is probably some up there. Okay, let's go on to Volume 4. Glendora versus Sadley Stevens, Burke & Burke, Crooked Law Firm, and Crooked Lawyer Walter A. Sarok, and Accessory Cecilia Masterilli. And the White Plains City Court room and building are beautiful. They're new, they're well designed, they took a lot of money, you can see that. But the courtroom, the acoustics are impossible, and the lighting is very, very bad. And I told Judge Hansberry that, and he says, yes, I have asked him to improve the lighting, and I've asked him to. I guess he didn't say anything about acoustics, there's nothing you can do. And also the fact is that when you go up to the witness stand, the platform of the witness stand, the rug is the same as dark charcoal gray, is same as the floor. And you don't know there's a step there. And a person could easily fall on his gluteus maximus, and that would be a good lawsuit against the city of White Plains. So after I pointed that out to Judge Hansberry, he was very careful when he said step down. Be very careful. All right. Sarok should be sanctioned $5,000 for the abuse of the small claims. Besides his ignorance of protocol and no meritorious defense and nescience of the law, he just plainly refuses to tell the truth. He renders the court appearances meaningless. Glendora told a first-time litigant at small claims what she would do if she were sued by Flatbush Auto Body, and she got him a small claims book, and he opted for trial. Glendora reported it on videotape for TV, and will incorporate this in her next omnibus lawsuit. And every time they take an hour of Glendora's time, that's $300 damages. And Glendora says, take judicial notice that Sadley is in total default. Sadley has never appeared. That's up until the time of trial. At trial, Sadley was the only one who appeared. Sarok and Cecilia were in default. I was called to court for all purposes. There didn't seem to be any reason at all for me to be in court. It cost $200 to get down there and back. This paper that I wrote cost $29, and it took 14 hours. We're on Volume 4, folks. This is a Herculean work. I protest the violation of my rights under the Fourth Amendment. It's illegal seizure, illegal search and seizure by these court Gestapos. They sit around all day. I watched them sit around all day because I was in the White Plains City Court lobby much of the day, and I saw them sitting around there, 5 of them, not doing a thing. Not doing a thing, can you imagine? 5 salaries, not doing a thing. And then they violate the Fourth Amendment, illegal search and seizure. They go through everything that you have. And this form, I'm going to make out several of them, asking I got a really good one here to show you. I can't locate it at the moment. It's under 5 pounds of papers. But it asks you to rate them. And I will give them all Fs. I will give them all points. I wish America were crowned with brotherhood. This is an application. Could the court please, I made a motion for a summary judgment, and weeks and weeks and weeks went by. It was ruled on. It was denied by Hansberry, and I'm glad he did, because I don't like that motion for summary judgment that I made. And then after the May 4th conference, or May 3rd conference, when Sarok was so illiterate and so ignorant of protocol and was so rude, he spoke first. You know, it's the plaintiff always speaks first. The defendant does not speak first. And I wrote a renewal of my motion for a summary judgment in my favor on the basis of new evidence. And the new evidence is, no matter how many times and how many opportunities you give Sarok to state a meritorious defense, he's going to fail. He never had stated a meritorious defense. He can't. It happened. And the documentation that it happened is so direct and so complete and so plenary. There's no denying that Glendora was damaged by his ignorant lawyering and shoddy workmanship. So I made this renewal of the motion on new evidence that no matter how much time you gave him, he'll never come up with a meritorious defense. And he will continue to violate the law and to defy the courts and the rulings and the orders. So I wrote that again. And then I talked to Paul Friedman, the small claims clerk, and he told me that you can't have a summary judgment in small claims. There has to be a trial. And he's right about that. So I asked them to get back to me on my motion, and I told them the judge has 60 days to rule on a motion, and this was something like 55 gone by already. And that cost $3, and it took 2 hours. And then finally we hear from Madam Clerk, Patricia Lupe, the Chief Clerk of the City Court of the City of White Plains. And the court has adjourned this matter for trial for January the 24th, 2007. That was last week. Then the trial came. We're up to 235 out of 300 pages. Glendora again says that Cecilia and Satterley lose by default. Satterley did not show up at the hearing on January the 4th, 2006, a year and a month before the trial. And the Glendora should be granted $5,000 damages and $20 costs because Sarok, as well as Cecilia, never appeared at the January 24, 2007 trial. That was last week, and never sent a representative. Zoe Jasper, who showed for Sally Stevens, Burke and Burke, made it clear that she was representing Satterley only and not Sarok and not Cecilia. So no matter what has happened over this year and a half, they were not at trial. They did not defend themselves, and Glendora gets a default judgment. Herein, Glendora has listed 95 counts of ignorant lawyering and shoddy workmanship. And this is reason A, to grant Glendora $5,000 damages plus $20 cost. Reason B is that Satterley, Stevens, Burke, and Burke are in default since the case was filed in October of 2005, and only Sarok appeared and Cecilia on January 4th, 2006. In default. Glendora should have been awarded default judgment then and there against Satterley. They wouldn't face the fact that a defendant cannot defend a co-defendant. Glendora has been 21 hours listing these 95 counts of ignorant lawyering and shoddy workmanship by these three defendants, since she was not able to go through her planned and prepared papers in court and list them. She spent 30 hours planning these papers and 30 hours of preparation for the January 24th trial, 2007, which was last week. Glendora has proven her case, ignorant lawyering and shoddy workmanship. Remember, violation of small claims rights pursuant to the Uniform City Court Act, Section 1801, that's Ecuador. Here's another shoddy workmanship. In Glendora versus Cecilia, Sawrock tried to reproduce Glendora's complaint of 27 pages, and all that came out was every other page. Ignorant lawyering and shoddy workmanship equates to unprofessionalism, and sadly calls Glendora a professional pro se. They ought to try being a professional pro se. With both jurisdictional defenses blown out,